act like he's kind of scared. So now he's scared of the blanket all of a sudden. So I'll just kind of take it up here, hold on to his head. Now, am I keeping him from going forward? No. Am I holding on to his head so I don't let him run off? Yes. I'm just going to put this blanket. He's got to figure out that this blanket isn't making him go. And then whenever he decides to stay there, I loosen that rein up, loosen that rope up. See, I don't have a hold of him now. I've just kind of got him where he's thinking, okay, not quite as bad as I thought it was, okay? Now, obviously, I kicked him in the belly there to make him jump or move, so it would be a little more realistic if it was a green colt that was scared. It's not something I genuinely practice. Get him quiet and then kick him in the belly. But, as you can see, it's good sometimes to get their energy level up and get their heart rate up and get them a little excited. That way you can teach them to bring it all back down. Something I don't want to do is always baby a colt around and keep him real quiet. I'm not really impressed with a horse just because he's standing still and he's relaxed. I want him to make sure he's standing still and he's relaxed, or I want him to make sure he's relaxed when he's moving around. I want to make sure he's relaxed when I do stuff like that, you know. Because when I get on him, it's not going to be just hunky-dory, just standing still. I'm going to kind of move him around. He's decided to hear that he should move when I pat him on the butt. So I'm not going to smack him real hard. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to put this blanket back up there and just keep moving him around until he decides to stand still. Notice I have his lead rope loose. Just kind of letting him go here. I'm patting him a little bit. I don't want to get behind him where I can get kicked. I can get kicked here, but a little safer than I am if I'm behind him. So I'm just kind of letting him go if he wants to go. But I'm just kind of containing him when he wants to go a little bit, letting go when he stands still. When he stands still, I'll quit patting him. Once again, this is the kind of stuff you can spend weeks doing if you think it's necessary. Good, so he stayed there that time. Good, so that was better. So he stood still there while I was patting him, while I was moving around. Not a big problem. Good. It was better. Now we'll kind of do the same thing to the other side. I've got to let him go enough where he can go if he wants. He's got to understand that if he wants to go, he can go. Nobody's going to stop him. But when he decides to stand still and let me pat him, he's going to figure out life's better. Not because life was really bad, but he's just... Horses are pretty lazy creatures in general. And the sooner they figure out they can stand still and their work gets done, the quicker we can teach them something. I'll come back and check this side real quick. Good, I wasn't holding on to him. I just kind of let him stand here. Come back and check this side. Let him go. Okay, let me have that saddle, please. So, if you guys have any questions, keep them to yourself. No, I'm just joking. If you have any questions, feel free to holler out. If you have any comments, you can keep them to yourself. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask or holler. You raise your hand, I might not see you. So I'll do the same thing somewhat with this saddle. I'll just pick it up, move it around a little bit. And if he's scared when I do this, then I'm definitely not going to put it on his back. I'm going to kind of hold on to it like that. And I'm just going to keep moving it around. I might set it up here. You know, as you can tell, I've had a saddle on him before. Let's just say he was scared of it again. He decides to jump around. Okay, well, I'm just going to stick with this saddle and keep moving until maybe he moves. And I might see what I can do to make him a little more scared of that saddle. Just kind of show you what it might be like if he's a little greener. I thought maybe he'd be a little greener today. So I'll just kind of keep moving it around, and if he jumps and jumps and jumps, I'm just going to keep it right up here until maybe he stands still, just like when I was patting him on the rump. Then I'll take it off and I'll walk away when he stands still. Okay? Now I'll just kind of walk up here and do the same thing again. I might put the saddle on this horse without that blanket, just so I only have a couple things to worry about for a little while. I've got a Grow Green colt that I know is not wanting to be saddled much. I'm not going to worry about having a blanket in one hand, rope in one hand, saddle in one hand. Doesn't matter. It's not going to kill him to have a saddle on his back without a blanket for him. Even if I put it on there, it's tightened up the first couple times. Not a problem. So I might do this a few times, on and off. Good. You know, I know it's kind of hard to pay attention to everything, or it's hard for me to explain every little thing, but notice everything I'm doing with this horse, I'm not getting myself, or I'm trying not to get myself in a position where I have a greater chance of getting hurt. Anytime you work with animals, you have a pretty good chance of getting hurt. I mean, this horse could reach up and strike me, he could bug me off when I get on him, he could run me into the fence, he could do anything. I mean, they're horses. But generally speaking, why did I just back him up like that and get him out of my way? Because if something scares him right now and he decides to jump, he's got a lot more of a chance of not landing on me now than he did if he was standing right next to me. You know, if I'm standing up here with a horse all the time while I'm just talking to somebody, and he decides to look what's over there and he hits me in the head with his head, I'm probably going to get hurt. But if I'm standing here and he understands that he needs to stay back there, then he decides to look over there or look over here, I'm a little bit better off. Okay? Everything I do, I try to keep my hands in a position where I don't have that rope wrapped around me like this. Okay? I always have that rope loose and like this. And if he wants to pull and get away, let him. How many of you have ever had a horse get loose that you haven't caught? Raise your hand. Nobody. Okay? I've had a couple cows I still haven't caught. They've been there 4 years. But some other guys were in the pasture and told me not to worry about it. So I'll go check on them again someday. Won't worry about it right now. But basically, there's never a horse that gets away that you can't catch later. So don't worry about hanging on to them so they can get away. Number one, if you've got a horse that's got so much flight and he's not broke enough to where he's always pulling and trying to get away, he's going to take you with him if he decides to go. So there's no sense hanging on because you're really not going to physically keep him there. And all you're going to do is hurt yourself. And you're going to teach him that he can get away. Instead of teaching him that he can leave if he wants to, and then when you catch him, you pet him a little bit. That way he kind of figures out maybe it's not a big deal to stay. So everything I do, even if I have to move this saddle and move this blanket and do all this stuff, when I'm switching the rope and doing it, I'm not doing stuff like this and wrapping this around me and then putting it here. You've got to really pay attention to what you're doing. These little bitty things make a big difference. I see so many people that call and they had a big wreck with their horse and their leg got caught or this got caught or their arm got hurt real bad. And can it happen to me? Of course it can. What I'm trying to stress to you today, not to do it like me because I never get hurt, but do it like I'm trying to tell you to do it so you don't have as good a chance of getting hurt. Just think about your hands and your fingers and don't even have your hand closed that much. Have it like this. And that'll help when you go to move around and you don't have to physically pull your horse. I haven't even pulled on the rope yet, but he knows he's supposed to pay attention to me and kind of follow me around a little bit. Okay? So what happens is, whenever I stop, I'd like to think he's going to stop over there. But if I always have to pull on him, he's always going to think he can just pull against me. Okay, so now, go ahead and throw this blanket on him. Go ahead and throw this saddle on him. Hey guys, how are you? Notice when I reach down to get this cinch, I don't reach down here like this. I don't put my head up here where he's not going to kick. What does the horse do when they feel a fly on their belly? Most of the time, they kick up there with that foot, right? So if I know there's a chance he's kind of a green colt, he might kick or jump or do something, I want to put myself in a position where I'm going to be safer, just like we talked about. So I'm going to reach down here like this, and if he jumps or does anything crazy, I step over here, I'm in a lot better shape, okay? But if I'm down here and he jumps or does something crazy, I'm not in very good shape because I can't move as easy, okay? So I always want to put my head towards his head, keep my head up when I reach down there and find that cinch, okay? Do I always want to have his head pulled around tight? No, but I want to have him somewhat paying attention. I don't want his head looking to the right when I'm doing this stuff, just so he kind of remembers that I'm here. I don't want him thinking about over there and then I go to tighten this up and he jumps. Because if his head's over there and he jumps, he's probably jumping this way. But if his head's over here and he jumps, he's probably jumping that way. So I'm just going to make this a little tight. Just tight enough where it's not going to fall off if he moves around. Keep holding. So right there, did I make him stay over here? No. I let him put his head over there and then I pulled him, say, hey, don't forget about me, I'm over here. Reach down there with this back cinch, tighten it up. I usually put a back cinch on everything in the beginning, just get him over that. I don't really like to, I mean there's horses I've ridden that I haven't put a back cinch on them right away. There's different schools of thought on that, just like there's different schools of thought on everything. I'm not here to tell you that my way is the only way, I'm just here to tell you that my way works, and my way works for me, and it's the way that I'm comfortable with, and it's the way that I'd recommend. And the way I'd recommend on the back cinch program is to put it on them the first time and just have it on them so it's not going to be an issue later. You know, you have a lot of horses, people get on them, they're 4 years old.